people from infection. You don't want to just, what if you infect someone in your family, you live and they die? And so think about all this stuff. And then we know when older adults get pneumonia, it's harder for them to come back from that. So let's just say precaution is everything. Prevention is everything. It really is. So I just kind of, shorten that. And then also in this day and age, a lot of people are depressed. They're getting depressed. People are getting depressed because we're losing loved ones. We can't go out. There's a lot of things we can't do. But if you know somebody's like seriously depressed, they're seriously depressed, check in on them. Just last week, and it's kind of sad, a friend of my husband's, and I'm telling you the truth about all this stuff. And imagine if I'm telling you what's going on in our life, I can only imagine what's going on in everybody else's life on a whole, because we're in some serious times right now. And a friend of my husband, his father found out that he had cancer. And I don't know what stages, I didn't know any of that. But he ended up driving away and killing himself because he didn't want to go through it. And they didn't find him for a moment. He drove away, parked somewhere, and he just shot himself because he didn't want to go through it. So that's why we said prevention. It's just too much happening. There's too much going on around us that we're not tapping into keeping ourselves alive, taking care of our families, taking care of ourselves. If I don't take care of myself, how's it going to affect my wife? How's it going to affect my children? How's it going to affect my mother? How's it going to affect my brother? How's it going to affect my father? How's it going to affect my friends? How's it going to affect the people that I know? And that's something that I want us, I don't care if you're woman, man, what, think about that. How is it going to affect the next person? If you don't do what you need to, Lord forbid, if something happened to my husband, I would never be the same. Every time he say he hurt, well, what do you think? Every time I say I hurt, well, do you think you need to make a doctor's appointment? That's the things that we talk about. And there's nothing wrong with being safe and sure. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is something wrong with you not wanting to keep yourself here, not wanting to go to the doctor, not wanting to make sure you're okay. There is something wrong with that. And so I'm starting to preach. I'm sorry. So let's talk about depression. What are the symptoms of depression? A lot of times people are depressed and they don't even know they're depressed. But it would take someone around them. Sometimes you get angry because you don't know why this person is acting like this. You think this person is just digging at you. You think this person is just making it their life's journey to make you miserable. Well, it may not be. They could be depressed. They could be super moody. They could be socially withdrawn or aggressive towards you, but it doesn't mean it's you. Right now, we have to just take ourselves and shut ourselves away. That would cause somebody to be depressed. It would cause us to be moody. It would cause us, some of us are not people that are socially withdrawn, but we have to be right now. Okay? And so it could feel this person's being aggressive with me. So these are things for us to look at. Is the pandemic making us depressed? And if it is, and so some people have suffered a life crisis. They've lost a loved one. And so this is showing changes in their personality. And who wouldn't have changes if you lose a loved one or you're suffering from a recent life crisis? And a lot of times we have to think about, a lot of people feel worthless and they turn to alcohol and drugs to feel better because they want to shut the world out. Okay. And then they start to have frequent thoughts about death. And talk about death and destruction, self-destruction to themselves. These are signs. Don't just think just because you checked in on a person and things are okay. Keep checking. Follow your hunch. Follow your gut. Follow your gut instinct. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And if you feel something's wrong, get the person some help. Because I'm doing it because I love you. I'm not doing it to hurt you. Okay? Because overcoming depression, a person overcoming depression by themselves, you have to understand it's a disease. It's not something that will just go away. If you're depressed, you need to talk to a doctor. In an urgent situation, go to emergency room or crisis center for help. Also take advice from friends and family members if they are encouraging you to seek help. They are often the first ones to notice. And this has been stated by the Mayo Clinic. Also work to improve your emotional health and well-being. When stress doesn't go away, it begins to weaken your immune system. If you're always stressed out, you're going to get sick. And it's going to increase the risk of you developing a number of physical and mental conditions. It will. Okay? The Men's Health Network recommends some lifestyle changes to help you cope. How do I cope? Let's talk about coping mechanisms. Number one, take care of yourself, exercise, eat well, get plenty of sleep. As we get older, we require more sleep. So don't fret if you need more sleep. Go to sleep. Meditate. It's been shown to lower blood pressure and relieve tension. You could just lay in your bed in the morning. Don't just jump up. If you're afforded the opportunity to wake up early enough and meditate on your day, meditate on life, if you could just meditate, just sit there and just simply go into a state of taking yourself and reaching out, just taking yourself and reaching to a higher power. My higher power is God, and talking with him. And when I come back from that and I come back down from talking to God, I feel so much different. I feel so much better. I have clarity. I have mental clarity. I have understanding of my direction for the day. I have just things pop in my head constantly throughout the day that I wouldn't have thought about before, because I don't want to allow myself to exist in a state of confusion. And if you need to talk to somebody else, create a support network, because you never know how the next person is feeling. They may be feeling like you. They may have gone through what you're going through. It's always nothing wrong with talk. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. And it's not about talking, it's about who you're talking to. Because everybody you can't talk to, but you have an idea of who you can. And I know you do. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, then you can have a support group. There's many support groups that are out here. And then another thing too, prioritize. So, if you got 50 million things coming at you at one time like me, what I do is I turn around and say, what are the most important things? And then you go from 10 to 1. Okay, this is most important. I'm going to take care of 10 first. And then 9 is next. And the least most important thing is 1. Then 1 will have to be last. And then I write them down. If it's too many things, I just write them down. And then I start checking them off as I complete them. And I don't go to the next one until I complete the first one. Period. Prioritize. I don't care what's coming at you. Work on those 10 things. And when you get through with those 10, you get your next set. And don't deviate from that. Stay in it. Know your limits. Sometimes it isn't bad. Sometimes it's okay to say no, and it's okay to walk away. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't do it right now. We talked about this in a previous episode. It's okay to say no. And that's part of self-help. That's part of it. That's part of it. It's okay to say no. If you say yeah to everybody, trying to please everybody all day long, and you let people pile 50 million things on you, just not right now. I got so much going on. And also another thing, do not self-medicate. Do not self-medicate. And do not self-diagnose. And don't use alcohol, tobacco, and drugs as a way to medicate yourself. Do not. You need to go to the doctor. If it's something that's so bad that you need to keep drinking, you need to see a doctor. If it's something so bad that you just smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette, or you're doing drugs to get through it, then you need to go to a doctor, because you can't see yourself slipping away. Other people can see you slipping away. And don't tell me, and don't tell other people, and don't tell yourself, oh, I can, I just do it when I need it, and I could turn it on and off. You can't turn anything on and off. If you could turn it on and off, it wouldn't be happening. So you're not able to turn it off. It's doing to you what it wants to do, because you're not in control. And you got to understand those things, and you got to reach out, and you got to get help. And there's nothing wrong with getting help. That's what you need to be doing. The number 9 thing is kidney disease. So that's your number 9 thing. According to CDC, kidney disease occurs when kidneys become damaged and lose their ability to filter the blood. And we did talk about that. And so you don't want to end up on dialysis, okay? And there's so many risk factors for African American, American Indians, Asians, Pacific Islanders, Hispanics are particularly vulnerable to kidney disease. Okay. And so there's reasons. And so we want you to make sure that you tap into understanding about your kidneys. Okay. What is it? Changes in urination, swelling in the legs, ankle, feet, face, and or hands, fatigue, skin rash with severe itching, metallic taste in the mouth or bad breath, nausea and vomiting, shortness of breath, feeling cold all the time, even in a warm room, dizziness and trouble concentrating, pain in the legs or backside, then you need to go see your doctor to make sure your kidneys are okay. Make sure you are drinking plenty of water. Exercise, just drink, and we talked about that. How much water do you drink? And just give you a quick understanding of knowing how much water you drink. Say you weigh 150 pounds, okay? So no, let's say you weigh 300 pounds. So you're going to take that 300 pounds divided by 2, which is 150. And then if you're drinking, you get your drinking, you pick up your drinking water, okay? I didn't say go to the sink and get the water. I said pick up the drinking water from the store. There's a reason for that. So you pick up your drinking water from the store. If you have 12 ounces, if it's 12 ounces in one bottle, then you divide that 12 ounces divide 150 divided by 12. And that's going to tell you how many bottles you need. If it's 8 ounces, divide 150 by 8. If it's 16 ounces, divide 150 by 16. That's going to tell you how many ounces of water that you need to drink. And it's simplified the way I just told you. 300 pounds divided by 150, 150 by however many ounces is in the bottle of drinking water. Then you take all of those bottles of water and put them right in front of you. And you make sure by the end of the day, every last one of those bottles are gone. Period. Because once you lose your kidneys, you can't get them back unless you get a kidney transplant. And how lucky is that? Are you going to be to do that? And then how lucky are you going to be to make sure that the kidneys take? You got to exercise regularly. Maintain a proper diet. Don't smoke. Get checked regularly for diabetes and high blood pressure. Get checked. Limit your use of over-the-counter pain relievers and take all medications only as directed. Only as directed. Period. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is incurable, progressive, degenerative disease of the brain. It's the most common form of dementia. It's not just memory loss, but it's also decline in ability to think and understand. Consequent changes in personality are accompanied by an inability to function. The type, severity, sequence, and progression of the mental changes vary widely among individuals because age is the most important known risk factor for Alzheimer's disease. The longer people live, the more likely they are to develop Alzheimer's disease, okay? Symptoms and warning signs of Alzheimer's disease may include memory loss or unexplained confusion that interferes with daily activities. Now, don't get it confused because sometimes when we get older, we don't remember things as good as we did before when we were younger. Difficulty in performing familiar tasks and chores. Problems speaking, understanding, reading, or writing. Forgetting words or substituting inappropriate words. Disorientation to time and place, like getting lost in familiar surroundings. Poor or decreased judgment, wearing a winter coat on a hot summer's day. Like, say, for instance, if you're having a problem speaking or understanding what you're reading or writing, okay? That's another thing. Problems with abstract thinking. Difficulty like balancing a checkbook. Difficulty understanding how to put something together that you put together like the back of your hand. Putting things in inappropriate places. Putting, like, say, for instance, you put the water in the cabinet. Like, you put the water jar. You got a cup of water, and then you put it in the cup of water. In the cup, with the water in the cup, in the cabinet. There's something wrong with that. You put the salt in the refrigerator, and you usually keep it in the cabinet. There's something wrong with that. Or, say, for instance, you wash the clothes, and the person wash the clothes said, yeah, wash the clothes, and I put everything up. And the person put the clothes up in the drawer wet. You know something is wrong. Drastic changes in personality, subconsciousness, lack of interest or involvement in usual activities. So if this person is declining, if they're declining in cognitive symptoms, then you got to get them to the doctor, okay? And it may cause depression, things of that nature. This is factual and true. It might cause depression. It's going to. Why? It would cause it in anyone, okay? And these are the things that you need to really, really look into, okay? I hope that, today's episode, it was long for me. Believe me, it was long. But I hope I've given you well-rounded, and I hope that this series was informative and